Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Glad to have you guys here on the 23rd, Thursday, the 23rd of November 2023. Thank you for tuning in. Now, we're going to get right in there and take a look. Now, I'm confused. What the heck's going on here? Take a look here. They're saying, now, I'm kind of waiting on the mainstream media right now to update on this story and give us the whole scoop. Because this is what's confusing me right now. And they've actually, just for this period right now, I think they've taken the story down more or less in the mainstream. And this is what I'm getting from Zero Hedge, though, that crash that occurred at the border, where they said that it was terrorists. This channel here on Zero Hedge is saying that it was a rich Bentley driver. And he was upset, I guess, after a cancellation of the Kiss concert. Well, this sounds like something from that old movie, that old roadshow movie called, what was it called? Detroit Rock City or something like that. It says CNN is reporting that the driver of the vehicle that Fox claims was full of explosives was a 56-year-old man who lived in an upscale area and then intended to go to a Kiss concert. He was driving a $300,000 Bentley with his wife, and it looks like it was just a terrible accident, it says here. So we're going to have to wait and hear more on the story, but they do have a picture here of the Bentley, and they have a picture of the wheel here of after the accident that happened at the border, and we see that the wheel is that is the identical wheel. That's the same wheel of this Bentley. Now, I don't know, because this story hasn't been verified yet. We were hearing terrorist attack, but could it have just been a fast-moving vehicle rammed into a guardrail or something? I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and find out. It says that the white vehicle went airborne and crashed into the Rainbow Bridge checkpoint near. I do know that when vehicles have a lot of speed and they crash, it can almost be like a bomb. The kinetic energy of the vehicle itself can cause a significant explosion. And they do have gas in them. The cars do. It's going through the engine and through the carburetor system that can fuel an explosion. So I guess we're going to have to wait and see on this article. See if they take the terrorist story down and put up this Bentley story. I'm not so sure, though, because I'm just waiting on that. Waiting to see what happens and what the official story is going to be of what this is. But this is kind of up in the air right now, this story, at this point, as far as I'm concerned. I'm waiting for official information, basically. So let's move on and talk about something else here. Official information might come in pretty soon. It might come in before my show even airs. So going over to France. Now, why I'm putting this story up here is because in the United States yesterday I was talking about crime. And a lot of people live in the out fringes away from the cities not right in the downtown areas and stuff. So they're not seeing this big effect of the crime rate going up in the United States just yet. It's mostly in the real bad actors are mostly been operating out of the cities. But if we take France for an example of what can happen, we know that lawlessness in France has gone off the charts, and the government is burying its head in the sand. It says so they're basically just. And so expect the same thing, in America. When lawlessness goes off the charts, the government will just bury its head in the sand. But the people are going to have to deal with the effects of having lawlessness go off the charts. So what I wanted to point out in this article is what's happening in France will probably happen in the United States at a certain point. And that is that they're talking about that the lawlessness has turned into armed militias at this point in France. So can we expect armed militias to form of lawlessness? And they're carrying out raids. So he says here, they're carrying out raids. So in other words, they're going wherever they want, doing basically whatever they want. Everybody's frightened of them. She says, I know so many mayors of small towns who no longer organize village festivals any longer. Some suffer from looting and external damage. These damages are in modest communities. Many of these people in these communities fear physical attacks. But one of the things here is it says French citizens, either growing up or living in the countryside, used to feel protected from the reports coming from the crime-ridden inner city suburbs. But they now realize that this is no longer true. They sometimes feel like game. In other words, these criminal mobs are roaming around. They're starting to move out into the country. And they feel like prey or like game. The people that are out in the country now at this point. It's like they're being hunted by criminals. And it's something that's pervasive, and it's making its way. It's kind of like this. It kind of starts in the cities, but then it starts to spread out to the suburbs, and then later it spreads out right into the country when it really gets bad. By that time, the cities are just absolute cesspools. And what's the government going to do about it? They're just going to turn a blind eye to it all. Defund it even more. Because they haven't got the taxpayer money to pay for it anyway. They've spent it on all of these different programs and stuff, these different things that are just absolute nonsense. A lot of it. One of the things I'm all for is rebuilding infrastructure. There was a time after the Great Depression, when they had a Corps of Engineers in the United States, and they used to hire people, men mostly, to do these jobs, to make things, to build things, build bridges and and a lot of the things, you want to travel across America, you might be traveling across a bridge. And that bridge was only there because the Corps of Engineers built it back when. And this created jobs to pull America out of the Great Depression. This made a lot of sense. The things they're doing today, they don't make any sense. Anyway, I could get off on a rant about all this, but suffice to say, now what's going on with the war? Well, the Czech Republic has said they're preparing for a high-intensity conflict. It says the Czech Republic, a NATO nation, has made an alarming declaration on the war with Russia. NATO can't afford to let Russia win Ukraine, take Ukraine. So will this spread into a NATO-Russia conflict? We're going to have to wait and see. But evidently, the Czech Republic, it says that they're preparing for a high-intensity conflict. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But things are not necessarily looking good. This war is not going away. Even though it's not talked about in the media very much right now, and it was the center of attention there a little while ago. Now they got bigger fish to fry. We're over there and around Israel, you know. So there's basically two war areas that have heated up. There's a third war area that hasn't really heated up yet, and it might be the worst of the bunch, you know. I'm talking about over in around the South China Sea and in the strait between Taiwan and China. That hasn't really heated up yet. That's another hot spot. Okay. Today, silver prices today are up 14 cents at $23.74 for silver. It's been rather strong lately, and it seems to be holding the price up close to $24. We're taking a look now at gold. See what gold is doing today. Gold is at $19.93. It's up $4.10. And cryptocurrency today, we're taking a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at $37,144. So Bitcoin is 37,143 now. 140 now. Okay, and Ethereum's at 2052. XRP's at 61 cents, 61.4 cents. Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 184 points at 35,273. It's near its peak right now. Not far off, only maybe 1,000 points off of its peak. Let's take a look right now at the oil. 75.51. It's down $1.59 on the day, or 2% on the day so far for oil. Bonds and rates. We're looking at a mixed bag. We're looking at the 10 years falling, but it's only 1 basis point at 4.4. And the U.S. 30-year, it's falling too. It's fell 3 basis points at 4.54. And taking a look at the U.S. dollar index is at 103.8. So 103.8 for the dollar index, and today it's going along sideways. Thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. Have a great afternoon, guys. Bye-bye.